University is an extremely invigorating environment, comprised of many unique opportunities to make connections, experience new things, and discover new interests. However, for many of these post-secondary students, including the four founders of InterFuse, managing some of the responsibilities and tasks that come with being a student is quite overwhelming. Students find it difficult to meet other mutual peers, receive help on their academic work, and get themselves out there in the community. They find that these problems arise due to the lack of resources universities provide to expand both a network of social and academic contacts for students. It was at this point in their lives when Rocco, Elvis, Nicole, and Ishan realized that there has to be a better way to help navigate what can already be a stressful time for some students. And that's when they came up with InterFuse. With InterFuse, students are given a platform like no other to interact in a completely safe way with their similar-minded peers and bridging the gap between their social and academic lives. With the integration of our platform with school systems and features such as targeted groups, customizable profiles, message board and chat rooms, all tailored to specific school years, programs, and classes, students are given an unparalleled experience to build meaningful relationships so that no student must go through what we had to ever again.
The relationship between the students and InterFuse will be in the form of providing communities. InterFuse will be providing a platform for communities and will help to form these communities through its group making feature, which puts students with similar courses in the same group. Students will expect an easy to navigate user interface and maintenance of the website, which will be provided by the InterFuse programming team. Students will not usually be interacting with InterFuse directly and will instead be using it as a platform to interact with others through message boards and direct messages to solve each other's problems. Students will be informed about InterFuse through emails, university newspapers, and during lecture pre-shows. These relationships will not be costly in terms of money, but more so in terms of time, as universities must be convinced to partner with InterFuse, and sending emails to students and getting the right message on the newspaper may take some time. As InterFuse acquires more students using the website or application, other students will also be enticed to use InterFuse more because of the network effect. Through the network effect, InterFuse will start to get more engagement out of every user and also more frequent users. Students will also get the added benefit of seeing relevant advertisements. InterFuse will also have a transactional relationship with advertising companies such as AdSense, which will allow AdSense to put advertisements on InterFuse. There will be no real relationship in place, but both applications will get a benefit out of being used by each other. AdSense will gain the benefit of having more relevant pages to advertise on, while InterFuse will gain the benefit of making more money. Customers or users of InterFuse can access the application through their internet browser via InterFuse website, as well as the mobile access to applications on Android and iOS. These channels will ensure users of InterFuse can conveniently and effectively access the application at any time on any device.
The most important key resource would be the contractual terms that come from the partnerships with universities. This will give InterFuse access to university databases and the ability to design the application based on that. InterFuse must entice universities to allow an integration of the app through the university portals and thus must continuously perform marketing through personal contact with these institutions. Furthermore, contracts must be used to bind universities to only using InterFuse for a certain amount of time. In addition to universities, another key partner critical to InterFuse functionality and development of the cost structure is the partnership with third-party advertisers looking to market their services to students. It is essential that InterFuse maintains and constantly manages its relationship with the universities and third-party advertisers to ensure the application is able to function, is compliant with the customer's needs, and allows the business to earn its maximum profit. Program developers will also be necessary and will be outsourced. The application cannot be created without the expertise of program developers who can help us create the visual design, and some software developers would also be needed to maintain the app security and fix bugs and errors that may arrive. Other key resources such as data server, telecommunications, and programming equipment providers are also needed to function the technological components of the application. Thus, it is essential that InterFuse continually maintains its technological infrastructure through constant updates and implementations of security measures. Finally, some people must be hired for live contact for the application help center, as problems may occur in real time that the students can need help solving, which is why customer service must be available at all times. With InterFuse, our two main streams of revenue would be the yearly subscription service universities would pay for us to update user bases, as well as integrate our platform with school systems, all in addition to advertisement revenue via third-party advertisements on our sites. The yearly subscription service will be about $1 per student enrolled, a very small fraction of overall tuition money, and will end up covering most of the fixed costs such as the implementation of data and server facilities, and will also go towards paying salaries, rent, and utilities. The advertising revenue, on the other hand, would be most of our profit, as we make roughly $1 per 1,000 impressions and $20 cents per click, which would significantly increase as we grow our user base. In terms of our cost structure, InterFuse is a very cost-driven business as we plan on outsourcing all possible jobs such as customer service and software maintenance to foreign countries for reduced costs. The main cost for a business would be initial costs to develop and maintain our technological infrastructure, such as server and data facilities, which could also grow with our user base. However, as we begin to achieve economies of scale, our cost per active user for the site could drop below the dollar per active user approximation we have now, which could largely increase our margins and allow us to start making profit of the yearly subscription service instead of purely covering costs.
Through careful consideration and analysis of the problems students face and the solutions that InterFuse can possibly provide, it is with this business model that InterFuse believes it can achieve its goal of providing hope for a new generation of young learners and innovating the social academic sector in a way that has never been seen before.